joining once more to go in depth on some very promising youngsters and Indonesia's chances in a ridiculously tough Group D. It's Aun Rahman. Aun, how you doing?
Hi, Ryan. I'm fine. How are you?
Life is good. I continue to live in
Of
the
course.
best region in Asia, so things are good. And you, how are things? It's been a bit since we've caught up. Things are good in Indonesia, I assume.
Okay, everything is good here, especially before Indonesia going to the Asian Cup. There's a long, long wait for us. The last time we played there is 2007. We host with our friends in Asian region, yeah, Malaysia, Thailand, and Vietnam. So we're really excited. But I really want to tell you all a story. I think not a story, a situation here in Indonesia.
Okay.
Here in Indonesia, there is a split opinion about naturalization players. Of course, everybody wants to know that about Indonesia. I asked kids in Malaysia. I asked everybody in our region. Even I asked my friend in Qatar what happened in their country about naturalization. There is nothing the same here happens here in Indonesia. Here the debate about naturalization is hostile. You know, there is
Mm-hmm.
a side who agree with naturalization. There is the other side who don't really like the naturalization. But you all must know that the debate is really hostile. You can see the debate on Twitter, on Instagram, and I think other social media, and there's a lot of profanity. Only talk
Just a
about
bit.
naturalization.
Just a
Yeah,
bit of profanity.
just a bit, there's a bit of profanity there in social media. Even people use profanity. Even people get hated just talk about naturalization. So naturalization is really sensitive issue here in Indonesia, especially before we go into the Asian Cup.
Well, it is one of the topics we'll talk about, but and I hinted at it a little bit there, but we'll rewind a little bit because we will come back to the naturalized players. But rewinding a little bit, this is a very difficult group for the Garuda with Iraq, regional rivals Vietnam, and in my opinion, one of the tournament favorites in Japan. So before we can get into the group and before we can get into that naturalized player debate, which we're gonna ask you about that one. But before we get any of that, there are some key names missing for Indonesia this time around. So who has not made the trip to Qatar?
I think the biggest name, and even everybody here talk about that, is the two names. There is first Stefano Lillipali. Uh, for me personally, he is the best number 10 in our football history. His dashboard. Uh, in some years, uh, when he played in Utrecht, somebody even say he is the next Andres Iniesta. So yeah,
Well,
I think, well, yeah, he's really good. He is really spectacular. Uh, Again, I will say it again. He's the best number 10 in our football history. Then the other big names who left out is Nadio Argawinata. He is our first goalkeeper in several tournaments. There is, yeah, a lot raising question, of course, for coach name Sintayong. Why he left the two big names, especially when their club Borneo FC is really good in the league. Now top of the league of the Liga Satu. So that's why there is a lot of question, a lot of angry people why Sintayong left Lili Pali and Nadio.
yeah, like you say, I think, boy, there's we're starting out hot here with the online debates because I mean nobody brings it on Twitter and Instagram like Indonesian fans. So uh, there's there's no right way to do things. I think in a lot of ways, I think they're going to be upset about almost anything. But we'll try to keep it positive here, and we'll turn our attention to the guys that are there. So who are some of the players that you think people should be keeping an eye on? Because again, we talked about it a little bit, but this is a group of players that I personally am really excited about. I really like this group. They are the youngest average age team at the tournament. So who are some of the young guys or just some of the key players in this group that you think people should be keeping an eye on?
I think my personal favorite is Marcelino Ferdinand. He play in Belgium. Uh, he also get the Guardian list for the next gen youngster. A couple, I think 2 years ago, he is 19, I think, this year. So he's really good. His attacking midfielder, poise. Uh, I can say he is like who's the quarterback of the Kansas Chiefs?
Kansas City Chiefs in the NFL? Patrick
Best
Mahomes.
quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcelino. Marcelino is Mahomes in Indonesian football. You know, the poise, the talent,
Okay.
and everything. But if
You watch.
you,
I think
but
you're
I
watching more
think,
NFL than I am, man.
yeah. But I think because we had a really tough group, and I think maybe in most game we will doing some counterattacks, fluid counterattacks. So we rely on defense. We rely on how we passing the ball. Marcelino is really good when our team is on attack side, on when we keeping the ball. So I think the star it will be the Ivan Jenner. He from Utrecht, also 19 years old. Some says even he is the our biggest talent right now.
Oh.
He's really controlling in midfield. Also, he he's a really good pair with Marcelino. So I think Ivan Jenner, because he plays he plays in better leagues. I think he will be the key for Indonesian.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised you didn't mention Ramadan Sananta there because he's somebody that I thought was really exciting during the AFF U23s. But again, I think, and I appreciate you keeping the list short because I feel like we could just keep going and going and going with the guys on this team that are exciting there because it is a fun team.
Indeed. There's a lot. Yeah,
It's a fun team, but
yeah.
it's a
There's a
tough
lot of
group.
exciting guys.
So I think with this one, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot to watch for. They're fun on their day, but this is a very, very difficult group. So when we look at it, what do you think are the chances of getting some points even or getting out of this group? Because again, I think when you're looking at going against Iraq and Japan, anybody is going to be upset about that draw. And then Vietnam's a little bit in transition. We'll come to them soon enough. But what do you think are the realistic goals or expectations for the group stage?
I think the realistic expectation is going for the best third position. Because let's say I don't like the term calculated loss. Because why
Yeah.
you play for loss? Yeah, of course. But we must realistic that we may beaten by Japan. And also really hard game with Iraq, but we can win against Vietnam because there is no Pak Hang-seo there. Field Rozier is easier for Sinteyong. So yeah, I think we may win again against Vietnam, get the points against Iraq. I think there is really realistic and calculated chance for Indonesia.
I like it. I like it. I mean, I think that's the way that I think both Vietnam and Indonesia are kind of looking at the group that way, try to pick up 3 points against the other and then hope for a point maybe against Iraq because I don't know who's going to be beating Japan at all in this one. But hey, I mean, hey, wouldn't that be just the most amazing thing in the tournament if these youngsters for Indonesia pulled it off? But let's go ahead and hop into the mailbag a bit because you got some very pointed questions as you were kind of leading into at the beginning there. These all came in on Twitter. The first one is from Pioli Out, and they're saying after the 4-0 defeat to Libya, I'm sure Indonesia can still beat Vietnam, but what are the chances that Indonesia can hold Iraq to a draw? So they're putting you right on the spot. Is it possible to hold Iraq to a draw?
I think yes, because there is a lot of good things when we play against Libya. Yes, Indonesia lost, but then I can see that the defense organization is better. Uh, we can see that the three, I think it's really exciting trio, yeah. Justin Hubner, Elkan,
Mm-hmm.
and Jordi. I think it's really fun guys who play in defense. Uh, the two games against Libya is really, uh, you know, really good for our national team because we have better spar opponent to because Libya and Iraq is playing the same game, a physical game. So I think Sintayong and his teams already have backs on his tricks on his backs to to play against Iraq. Uh, we won against Kuwait surprisingly in qualification. So I think we can do it again. We can do it again. We can do more surprise because this is a tournament. Everything
Mm,
can happen. Japan beat Spain. Korea beat Germany with Sintayong. So I think everything can happen. Maybe we draw against Iraq and then surprisingly win against Japan. Nobody knows, right? But I
I
think
do love I
uh,
love the throw in there of not only did Korea beat Germany, but they beat them with Shin Tae-young in charge. I love that inclusion there.
yeah, yeah.
Well, okay, so speaking of Shin Tae-young, we're going to move on to the next one here. And this one came in from Mim, just M-I-M, on X on Twitter. I'm going to keep calling it Twitter forever. Anyway, this is leading into the story that you were telling at the beginning there. This says that Indonesia have taken naturalized players in bulk. Is this sudden influx of players going to affect Shin Tae-young's game plan? So this isn't necessarily whether it's a good idea or a bad idea, but it is a lot of players all at once. So is that going to be too difficult to try to integrate going into the group stage?
Yeah, I think yes. We can see in the game in two games against Libya, and when we're talking, Indonesia will play against Iran in couple. The problem is not the players, but how to organize, how to integrate the players to Sintayong system. We can see that the ideal system is five backs, three and two strikers, which is Surik and Sananta. I think I think if it works, if it works, it will be spectacular, of course. But you know that yeah, that is the problem that a lot of new guys need to integrate to to Sintayong team. That is, I think I still don't know, but we can see in the game against Iran if something happens, something good happens, then we can do and we can see the Asian Cup with more optimistic feeling.
I like it. Well, we've just got one more for you here, and we're asking everybody this go around. This is from Dili Amin on X. Quit. I can't. Twitter. Anyway, why don't I have to do this every show? Which Southeast Asian nation is going to go the farthest? Who do you think is going to? At this point, I think it's progress out of the group stage, but even beyond that, who knows? Who do you think will be the last one standing of these four teams?
Thailand have their problem with Ekani with Sanatik. Vietnam, I don't know. They lose their their fear factor after Pak Hang-seo left. Uh, Malaysia got easier group than others. You can say it from me to Kiss. Kiss, your nation got easier group. So so I think
Okay.
when others, yeah, you play against Korea. You play against Korea, of course, but the other nation is not that tough that like other nation have. So I think Malaysia maybe will go in for this. But of course, because I'm Indonesian and I proud with my country, so yeah, I will say also Indonesia will go through. maybe Southeast Asian final. Everybody fancy that?
Hey,
Of course, yes.
hey, great. Yeah, I would love an all Southeast Asian final in West Asia as well, in Qatar. That would really draw. That would have butts and seats right there, man.
Indeed,
That's the
indeed,
way to do.
indeed.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
we're gonna come back. We're gonna have a chat after the group stage. So hopefully after the group stage, we'll be talking about all four teams making it through and getting ready to set up that Southeast Asian final. I mean, yeah, no, I don't host anything in Korea anymore. I can cheer against them. It's fine. Let's go. Let's go, Malaysia. Which is a perfect segue into our next guest. But for now, before we get into that, Aun, thanks so much for taking the time.
Of course, friend.